everybody, I'm Joey and I'm here tonight to show you some easy ways to layer your handmade cards. Sometimes that's kind of a dilemma for a beginning stamper and also sometimes for experienced stampers too. So I hope I'm going to have some hints for you. I'm going to, before we get started, I just need to get you pulled up on my iPad here. So I'm just checking that, and there I am, so that's good. And then one more technology issue is getting myself pulled up on my laptop right here too, so I can see your comments. Otherwise I can't see comments. Okay, there we go, that's pulled up. So okay, I see a few comments already. Hi Diane. So when you come on, say hello, and I'd love to know where you're from. I do know where some of you are from, but there might be other people watching that don't know where you're from, and that's a nice way to make connections. I posted a video of last week's Facebook Live on YouTube, and somebody new was watching, and they said, hello, I'm from Kansas City. Well, we had just been to Kansas City. Hi, Pam. Hi, Patricia. Last weekend. And so I said, well, whereabouts? Or she said she lived in Missouri, and or Kansas. And I said, well, where do you live? And she said, well, I live in Kansas City, Kansas. And I answered her back, and I said, well, I have two cousins in Kansas City, Kansas, and we had lunch or breakfast in Bonner Springs just last weekend, and she said, oh, I live right next to there. So I always feel like, you know, locations are great places for people to connect to or with, and sometimes you meet somebody you didn't know. Sorry, I'm so close. I'm putting my iPad in my iPad holder here on my desk. But sometimes you make a connection that you don't realize you're gonna make. Gotta get my seat ready. And anyway, it's kind of fun, so I thought that was really a fun connection that I made with her. Hi Betty. Okay, and there we go. Oh, thanks for sharing already. Appreciate it, everybody. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. Sharing helps more people see the video. That helps me, and it also might be helpful to some crafty person who might want to know what we're talking about and what they might get some help with too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. We're going to get started on how to cut card layers. And this dilemma that I didn't really think of as being a dilemma, because when I first started stamping, I didn't really cut layers. I just stamped, and I didn't really want to spend time cutting layers. But oh, thanks. Oh yeah, thanks everybody that's sharing. Please do put shared in the comments, because Facebook doesn't always show me the names. It shows me the number, but unless we're personal friends on Facebook, it doesn't show me your name. So please put shared so that I know that you shared, because I two drawings, one for people who shared, and then another drawing for people that comment. So the pool is usually smaller for sharing, so you have a better chance to get my giveaways. Okay, so anyway, I was blithering on about layering. So not too long ago, my sister-in-law said, I don't know how to cut layers. And I said, well, she's been paper crafting for many years. And I said, well, how are you cutting layers? And she showed me, and I'm going to show that to you in a moment as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get you, hi Shar from Wisconsin, yay. All right, people are getting logged on. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to click a tool. Thanks for sharing, Shar. And I'm going to go upside down, and then you're going to be right side up. So, oops, I'm going to have to adjust my camera for a second. I had it adjusted for my team meeting, and then I forgot to adjust it back. So I'm probably going to be a little bit skewed for a minute till I get everything turned around. Let's try that, see if that was better or worse. Sometimes it takes me a minute to see if it gets better or worse. Okay, that was better, so let's do it again. Okay, All right, so let me bring up my camera. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. Let me get squared away here just a little bit more. Okay, we're getting going here. Let me change that just a touch. Okay, hi Kay. This is a good topic tonight. I seem to struggle with this. Oh, I'm so glad to know I can be helpful. We'll talk about celebration in a moment, but let's just go ahead and jump into what we're talking about. All right, I'm going to give you some examples here, and we're going to kind of start from scratch. Darn it, my phone is still crooked, so let me go back this way just a touch. We'll see if that gets better. I'll keep adjusting it as we go because I can kind of tell where I'm getting better or worse usually. And that looks worse, so let me come back just a touch this way. All right, so, before we do that, we're gonna stamp, and I'm gonna show you what some people do and also what my sister-in-law was doing. So I'm going to, I'm just gonna grab a piece of cardstock here. And I'm gonna grab any stamp. So let's say I wanna make a card with this swimsuit. And I have a greeting. I'm going to make a simple card, and I have a greeting. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's stamp in. We don't care what color because this is just an example. Hi, Diane. Oh, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to just, this is Calypso Coral. I did not plan out my sample, but I know what I'm going to show you and why I'm going to show it to you. So I'm going to stamp this here on my scrap paper. Okay, that's the start. Then I know that I want to use a greeting, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. Well, we'll at least change colors just for the heck of it. We're going to put a little greeting on here. And I'm just going to put that. I'm not doing any die cutting or anything on this card. So I'm just going to stamp my greeting. Okay, so let's say this is going to be the image on my card. So let me clean this stamp. So, because this is not the color I'm using when I make the real card that we're going to make tonight. So I want to make sure I don't have ink on my card. Okay, so now, I could have probably done a little bit better example with this. So this is what I have done this, and I know many other people have done this. So I'm not quite sure how to center this. So I'm going to just start cutting my paper down. So I'm going to cut here. Well, I want this to be about there, so I know that's not quite right. So I'm going to come a little bit closer here, and I'm still kind of guessing where this is gonna land, but I don't want to cut too much because I can't come back and fix it if I've already cut my paper. Then I have to start over. Okay, well that's better, but it's not best, so I'm gonna go over, it looks like maybe close to 1/4 of an inch or so, and I'm just keeping going here to try to get it right until it looks right. All right, so we're gonna assume that that's close enough, but now I don't want this much space here, and I don't want this much space here, so I'm just going to go up here, and I'm going to cut some off the top. So I have like about 1/4 of an inch up here, maybe a little bit more, so then I know I'm going to come down here, and I'm trying to get this, now I'm kind of guessing still, I'm trying to get this to be about 1/4 of an inch too, like this. Hi Christy. Okay, so again, I'm kind of just guessing. Okay, that's not too bad of a guess. I'm about even down here. Maybe not quite. Looks like maybe this needs to come a little bit more off. Not that much probably. Let's go. Well, I kind of want even numbers over here just to make the next part easier. Okay, so that's a little better, but in the meantime, I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuts, and I've also wasted some cardstock in the meantime. All right, but I could make this work. Let me grab a piece of Calypso Coral. So if I want this like this, then one thing I can do, say you've started like this and you're already into it and you forgot what I'm going to show you tonight. So this is 3 1/4. And I think this is going to be fairly close. No, this is going to be 3. So 3 by 3 1/4. So if I want this to be, what I say, 3 by 3 1/4, right? So I don't get mixed up, I'm actually going to write it because I want to show several things. So we're going to go now. I want a border around this about 1/8 of an inch. So that means I'm going to make it, let's see, which way? This way. 3? No, that's 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 this way. So that means I want to go to 3 1/2 for my mat. And then this way was 3. So I want to go 3 1/4 this way. So 1/4 of an inch will give me about 1/8 of an inch on each side of my my image, like this. Or if I want it skinnier, I would just drop that down another 1/8 of an inch. So then I would go 3 and whoops, I made it, make sure I know I'm going the right way. So 3, let's see, is this 3 1/4? This is 3 1/4. So I'm gonna go 3 1/8. Nope, that's the wrong way. This way. So this is 3 1/4. Whoops, what am I doing here? Sorry. So anyway, whatever this is, I'm just going to make this 1/8 of an inch smaller. So I'm going to, rather than try and figure that out, I'm just going to cut off 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going over here. I was afraid my brain on numbers tonight might get confused with all the numbers. So I'm just going over here to, this is 1/8 of an inch right here. So I'm just cutting off 1/8 of an inch. So now my border is just a little bit of skinnier. Now that is a typical border, either 1/8 of an inch wide all the way around, or a 16th. Actually, this is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, let me say that again. This is a 16th of an inch because I cut it 1/8 of an inch longer and 1/8 of an inch wider. This, our other border was 1/8 of an inch around, and I had cut the border 1/4 inch both directions. Okay, so that's one way. You know, you just stamp your stamp and then you start whittling off. Another thing that my sister-in-law used to do is, I have to grab another piece of Calypso Coral. This is what she used to do, which is even more cumbersome. She would kind of line this up like this, and she would go along here like this, and she would try and guess, you know, how wide of a border, again, guessing at that. And then she would cut it like this. Well, you know, that can work okay too. Both of these things work, but they're a little bit time consuming. So what I wanted to show you is several things. So, so there's that. And we got to the same thing both directions, but that is a little bit time consuming and you're always guessing, and if you cut too much, you're starting over. So what if, I know I want to use this same stamp, these same 2 stamps. So for now, oh gosh, I was moving my paper all around with cutting all that stuff. So you're not going to be able to see my grid paper. So I'm going to actually just take a smaller piece of grid paper. This is what we use for our stamparatuses, plural. So what if, you know, I didn't mount my stamps yet, and I'm just putting this stamp, I know I'm going to use this, and I know I'm going to use this stamp. So I'm just putting them on my grid paper, and I'm kind of bordering, you know, I'm looking to where this is going to be the size of my image. So I can actually see that I need this to be, okay, of course now your numbers are backwards. This is going to be 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3 in this case. So if I've got that measured out, I know that I want my main image to be 3 by 3. So I'm going to go ahead now and mount my stamps on my blocks. And then I can just go back to my white cardstock and I can cut it 3 by 3 like so. I'm going to cut it 3 by 3. Now if I want it, and then I can do my stamping, and I've only made 2 cuts in my scrap paper, and I'll show you because it's going to work. It's like just like the other one, only with only 2 cuts instead of all those cuts that we made. Sure, you've cut those ways. We have all cut those ways, every one of us. And if we say we haven't, we might be telling a little bit of a fib. Okay, so let's go this way, and then we'll go ahead and stamp our, we've got Starry Sky out here, so we'll stamp our greeting in Starry Sky, just like our other one. Now, we know we made this 3 by 3, so we already know that if we want a skinny layer, we're going to cut it 1/8 inch wider and longer. This just happens to be a square. Sorry, I didn't prepare I don't think this is wide enough. Oh, it is going to be wide enough. I got lucky. So let's say we want a skinny layer, so I'm going to just make it 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to start this way to save my paper. So my main image is 3 inches. So now I'm going to go to 3 1/8. And then I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to go to 3 1/8 again. Didn't really mean for this sample to be a square, but it turned out it works the same way, whether it's a square or a rectangle, no matter what. And then we've got our perfectly matted image. Make sense? Okay, so I want to cover that, and then I also want to cover another way to layers. So my sister-in-law Carla was having trouble. So this is our standard card basis. This one we call, well, I don't know, vertical? I'm not sure. This one is normal, you know, just like your regular 8. These are 8, but these are both, no matter how you cut your paper, they're going to be across the tops, they're going to be 4 1/4, and down the side, they're going to be 5 1/2. So if we go from the other direction, so we know this is 4 1/4 and by 5 1/2. So then our next layer smaller would be, if it's just going to have that skinny edge on it, it's going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I don't know if you can see that against the white down there. If I want it a little skinnier yet, if I want it a little wider border, I'm just going to cut a 1/4 inch smaller each direction. So since my card is 4 1/4 this way, I'm going to cut this mat at 4, and this way is going to be 5 1/4. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I'm trying to make skinny, I can make several layers like this. So here's my red one. Here's my pumpkin pie. Oh, you've used a pencil, Pam? Oh yeah, I've done that too. I've done it all. Okay, like this. Then we keep going down here. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. If I want a yet smaller one, I could have 3 colors on my card and go down 1/8 of an inch again. Since this is 4 and this is 5 1/4, and 1/8 inch down would be 3 7/8 and 5 1/8. Does that make sense? Or let's say I just want a really wide layer. white, sorry, I can't talk. What am I trying to do here? That's not what I wanted. I wanted, no, that's not what I wanted. That will work that way, but we're going to go down a little bit smaller. Let's say we want a wider panel. Then I'm going to cut it a whole half an inch smaller. So this would be 4 1/4 across. So then if I want my layer to be have 1/4 of an inch on each side, I need to go down a half an inch. So that would be 3 3/4. I know this is 5 1/2. And if I want half an inch on each, 1/4 of an inch on each side, I need to make this 5 so that I have 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Okay, hopefully that doesn't make it too confusing. I have and then you can keep on going down. So I asked Steve, this is the regular size cardstock, I asked Steve if he would cut these layers for me, starting all the way down at 2 1/2 by 3 3/4, and then it goes up to, you know, the next 1/8 of an inch up, and then the next 1/8 of an inch up, etc. So he made a chart for me. I did the cutting, and I did the marking of the sizes on here, but he made a chart for me. So, and I'm going to make this available to my email list. And I did the very layers. He even went up online and looked up the RGB codes, so they would be color coordinated. So real red coordinates. So when you look at these lines, and this tells you these layers, and this is the biggest layer, then it goes down to you know, this one, etc. So I'll make this available on my to my email list. This will probably be my gift this week, my free tutorial. And so if you're part of my email list, you'll be getting it. If you're not on my email list, then it might be a good time to get on it. I will actually right now in the comments, Shar, yeah, you're right, Shar. So Shar is saying that she uses 1/4 of an inch because those skinny ones are a struggle. And they are a struggle. I used to never make swap cards with anything less than 1/4 of an inch, because if you get off even just a little bit, it's kind of a hot mess. So I'm going to right now plug in my link to my email. It's the only way I have right now to communicate. I have a blog created. Okay, there I put in the comments the link to my tutorial. So hopefully you might have to copy it. Yeah, it looks like it's a working link. So I'll send this to an email list. My blog is built. I just haven't gotten it. I just have to do more work on it before it's ready. Otherwise, I would put something like this on my blog so you could just click on my blog and go get it. But I hope to have that up and running in the next couple or 3 weeks. So, but there's that. I hope that was helpful, and I hope this will be helpful. So that is how to get that. And you know, it might be helpful to you to just go ahead and cut up if you have these colors of cardstock, or you could cut your own colors, whatever you have, so that you could just go, okay, this is going to be my first layer, this is going to be my white space in my image, and then maybe my next layer is going to be this one, and then I know what to cut. So this is going to be 2 3/4 by 4. Right? And because this was 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. Anyway, that's a lot of numbers for you, but I hope that's helpful. And listen, no matter what you do, just remember my trick of what I do is just taking my stamps themselves and putting them on my grid paper. Or if you don't have grid paper, we do sell this grid paper. Just take your ruler. You know, you can put your stamps down. And of course you wouldn't have them mounted like I do now, but you saw how I did it. And then just measure what you need for your stamps, and then set it, then just make your mat 1 1/8 inch bigger or 1/4 inch bigger, or as wide or skinny as you want it. Does that make sense? Okay, so Christy says, when you get a package of cardstock, do you cut a certain number of these pieces and maybe strips as well? No, I don't, Christy, because I don't know what sizes I'm going to want to use, but you certainly could. I don't personally do that, but you certainly could do that. One thing I know some demonstrators do is they'll cut a lot of one color of, maybe not that size. This is the more common one. So we're not using 8s. We're going to go right to 4 inches. They will cut a lot of mats in one color, and then they'll put them in with their cardstock. So this basic mat size that we use a lot of the time, we're going to use it tonight yet quite a bit. They do that. I know demonstrators that do that. So it might be worth your time, especially if you've got an idea of what you're going to make, to do something like that. Okay, great. I'm glad that was helpful. That makes me feel good because I just really do want to be helpful. All right, so let's get started making our cards. So tonight, I hope I've made this visually a little bit easier. I'm trying to have things be clear and not more complicated. So I have a panel that is, we're going to start with this panel, and this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I have determined that because I did what I told you I did earlier. I laid out my stamps. Let's see, let me see where my grid paper is. I laid out my stamps. This starts the one over on this side, so we'll start on, well, let's go this way. This is 1, 2, 3, like this. I laid out my 3 stamps. I'm going to use these 3 stamp sets, or these 3 stamps, and I put them on my paper, just like I showed you. I put all 3 of them down, like so. Okay? I'll remount these, obviously, for our card. And this one, we're using all 3 of these cute little swimsuits tonight. See if I'm in the, I want to see if I'm in the picture. I think I keep moving my paper and I get out of the picture. So so remember on my grid paper here, this is going 1 to 3 this direction. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm getting this like this, with a little bit of room between them. And then my greeting, we're going to do that same greeting, make a splash, and I kind of figured that, okay, this is going to be about, give myself some extra room. I went to 4 3/4 by 3.5. Okay, so that's how I determined what that size of my main image was, or my main panel that I'm going to stamp on was going to be. So, and this is what I do the most often. That's how I determine it in order to save time and save paper. So let's go ahead and make this cute little summer card that you can make in just a short amount of time. And you can use this now for any, any stamp set that you have. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Okay, these are the layers we're using. Now let's go ahead. I'm using this Funny Splash stamp set. I've had this workshop ready for you guys since June. That's how long I've had it ready. And I finally decided, then we got with the holiday catalog, we had Christmas in July, all that. So, oh, I better keep my layers so I have them for my tutorial. Okay, so now we're gonna just stamp our swimsuits, and we're gonna do our middle one first, which I'm gonna place that in the middle first, and we're going to use, sorry for reaching across the camera, my ink pads are kind of off to the side. Yeah, I love these swimsuits. Christy's saying it makes her think of the boardwalk and the 1950s. Okay, this is Parakeet Party. I'm using quite a few ink colors tonight, so you can tell when I was getting excited about ink colors. Okay, there's our first swimsuit. Then we're gonna make this very colorful, so we're gonna switch to Tahitian Tide. Okay, I'm gonna have to move my computer because it's right in the middle of all my ink pads. Okay, so I'm gonna move over this way a bit. Tahitian Tide is gonna be our next color. And let's go with this kind of Betty Grable type swimsuit. And I'm just guessing at this. I'm not, oh, that was kind of splotchy. Well, that's okay. When your ink pads are new, I haven't used this one very much, and you get kind of a splotchy image like that. If you take a plastic spoon or something soft, something rounded that won't hurt it, and you just push it down and then ink it again. I'm not going to re-ink it again, but I will show you. I'll show you that it'll be a better image. I mean, I'm not going to redo my card, but yeah, see, the top's better. I just wasn't careful about how well, never mind. It's not showing you like I want to because I'm hurrying through it, but just trust me on that. Just push down your ink pad. You don't want to take ink off of it because then you just waste your ink. So if it's too mushy and it just doesn't do what you want it to do, you can scrape a little bit off with a gentle edge of some kind. Don't use anything sharp on your ink pads because they'll tear. Okay, and then our third one is going to be Sweet Sorbet. I'll get this one out here. And now we're going to do the polka dots, which I love. Let's check and see how juicy this one is before we start stamping. I think I've used this one quite a bit more. I don't think it's going to be splotchy. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. And once you've used them a lot, then, you're going to use up that excess ink. Okay, so there's our 3 swimsuits. Super easy peasy. Just used, in this case, we used 3 different stamps in 3 different colors, but you could use the same stamp in 3 different colors too. That would work. And then make a splash. Let's go ahead and go back to Tahitian Tide for our make a splash this time. And we're gonna just ink that up. And I want to make sure I have this inked well. Sometimes if you just look at the back of your stamp, now I can tell I got it goopy around there. So if you're really worried about that getting on your card, then just go ahead and take a wipe and wipe it a little bit. If I go straight down and straight up, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it. Yeah, so it goes okay that way. Okay, so make a splash. That's our greeting. Then we're just going to make some layers like we did earlier, only I'm going to show you a lot of different ones. So this first layer I'm going to use is, I want this to be a skinny layer. So this is going to be 3 7/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so I wanted this one to be skinny, so that's how I did this one. Hi, Mary. So we've got a skinny layer. So this is only about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around because it's 1/8 of an inch each direction bigger than my main piece, like this. Okay, like so. I'm trying to get the border even as I can. There we go. And then the next one I wanted it more than 1/8 of an inch. I wanted more of a 1/4 of an inch, so I went to 4 by 5 1/4. And now we're going to actually tie a little bit of twine around this one. Okay, I'm going to grab some. Now the ink colored twine, I think we forget about this because we've had the ink colors for a while, and I thought the other day, oh, I needed something kind of bright, and I pulled out the twine because I thought, oh, Sweet Sorbet, that's going to work on my card. I'm going to wrap this around a couple of times right off of the bolt, and then I'm going to put this under here. And the only reason I'm doing that is to hold those two strands together on my card. Move this over like this. Bow tying on Facebook Live is always just a real adventure, and I've got my strands twisted more than I want them twisted, so I'm going to kind of untwist those right there at the bottom. Then I'll try and pull this up together. That looks better. Okay, so sometimes what I do with twine, and I'm going to do it tonight just to make my life simpler, is I tie it in a knot first, and then I tie the bow. With the ribbon, I usually don't do that because it makes it too bulky. But with twine, we can do that. Okay, so this is Tahitian tied twine with our little swimsuits. I'm going to pull that like so. And I'm going to trim it up like so. And then we're going to put this on a Tahitian tie card because that's kind of been our accent. Card base, rather. So remember, our card bases are 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. If we're doing it, you know, the regular card way and not the vertical way. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to grab some fun flowers. The fun flowers, they're resin flowers. And on my first card, I made my sample. I put pearls here, and I'll show you that when I finish this one. But I'm actually going to put some green. I'm going to put one of these resin flowers up here, one of the bigger ones, and then 2 little ones on the bottom of the swimsuit. Be cute, and it gives it a little bit more pizzazz. And it covers up the dots so you don't really see them, but it gives a little bit of glitz to it. So there's our first one. Okay, and on my sample card, I used the pearls. So which one do you like better? Do you like the pearls, the small pearls, better than the resin flower? The fun flowers, these are called fun flowers. Or which one do you like better? While you're commenting, I'm going to grab my next card. Oh, thank you for the hearts. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. While you're commenting, I'm going to keep going here, clean up my mess, and switch projects. I've got 4. Hopefully you've brought a drink. If not, while I'm doing this, you can run get a drink and be ready to sip for a while we switch projects. Okay, there's that one. Okay, number 2. Number 2, you know, I promised sweet and easy cards, and you have asked me for that, actually. So this time I have my first layer. Chris, you like the fun flowers? Hi, Debbie. Yeah, I think I kind of do too. I think they're splashier, and we're making a splash. So I think that's a good option too. They're both good. If you only have pearls, then that's good too. Okay, so now I did for this what I also showed you before. I kind of lined up my stamps on my grid paper first and figured out how much space I needed. And then I came up with this piece is 3 by 4 1/4. So I need to cut my mat for this. Get these out of the way. My paper trimmer about here. So since I pre-made this card, I know it needs to be, that this piece was 3 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to do 3 1/8 for my mat, and 4 3/8. If I'm doing my math right, that should be right. Let's see if I got it right. Sometimes I have to redo. Yeah, that's what I wanted, so we're good to go with that. All right, so now I'm actually doing this card from scratch. I've made this card only with different colors, so I'm living life dangerously. We're going to we'll see if this color combination works out. I think it will. Hopefully it will. So we're going to take Calypso Coral, and then the sweet, oh, for this card we're using the Sweetest Cherries and the Coordinating Punch. So it's a bundle. It comes together, and it's just a little over $30, I think. 32 maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so I'm taking... Hi, Donna. Nice to have you join me. You like the yellow best, Diane? Yeah, that looks pretty. Okay, so I'm going to put this sweet down. Just, oops, you know what? I'm going to grab my stamp and my piercing mat so that I make sure I get a good image with this, because it's a big stamp, and photopolymer stamps that have a lot of flat space on them like this does, they sometimes don't like to, I need words above this, so I'm kind of centering this. Sometimes they just need a little bit of extra pressure. So if you don't have a piercing mat, you can use like a pad of paper or a magazine, something like that. And that's a good image. I'm happy with that. So we've got that in Calypso Coral. And then we're going to put our greetings in. I think I picked, I don't even remember what I picked. I think I picked... in my head, I haven't made this actual card with these colors. I made it in different colors, which I'll show you. So I'm going to take Starry Sky, and then I'm going to do Wishing You try and get that straight, and then Sweet, and then I'm going to do our little day under here, Wishing You a Sweet Day. Now the paper I'm using, let me quick clean these so I don't get ink on things that we don't want ink on. Okay, so get rid of this, get rid of this. Now we've got our mat done, so what I need to do now is we're going to punch some cherries. So I got out some Calypso Coral. So we don't have a red cherry, but we have an orange cherry. Hopefully that's not going to be hard for anybody to deal with, that we have an orange cherry instead of a red one. But there was Calypso Coral in the paper. So I've cut my cardstock. So here's a tip for you. When you're doing a builder punch and you don't need all that stuff, you just cut your cardstock to about the size of what you're cutting, and that saves a lot of paper. So I'm going to cut a cherry here, and then I've already cut a stem, or punched rather. I punched a stem of Parakeet Party, and then I punched a blue leaf out of the same designer series paper that I'm using, which is it's the butterfly paper. Shoot, those of you that are demonstrators, do you remember what this butterfly paper was called? Let's go ahead and put, I can look it up in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and finish my card. So we're going to put this green stem on. Whenever you're trying to do cards that are a little quicker, and maybe you don't have a die cutting machine, so you don't have the possibility of using dies for card making, then punches are a great way to go. And this set has a lot of greetings in it. There's thank you, there's birthday wishes, there's wishing you, like, and plus the sweet, the friend, and you can mix and match these all together, plus the stamps cut out with the punch too. We're not going to do that tonight, but because we're saving time, these are supposed to be time-saving cards. So I'm going to just put a glue dot on my little blue leaf. Well, if the Calypso Coral Cherry bothers you, the Starry Sky leaf is probably really going to bother you. So look away. If it's bothering you, look away, and we will, next time we'll do red cherries and get everybody back on track. Okay, so now I'm going to take my dimensionals and I'm going to put one there, and then I'm going to try and put this one right next to the stem to kind of help that stem stay on well. And then I think I'll use my take a pick tool, whoops, to actually take these off so I don't disturb my little cherry there. And we're gonna stick this kind of in the middle of that stuff down there. And then we're going to go ahead and mount this on our little border that we made, that I showed you how earlier to do that. And so we did it on this card because I wanted to show you in action how I actually do it, not just a theory of I think this would work. No, I wanted you to see this is how I do it, and if it works for you, that's great, and if it doesn't, I'm okay with that. You do you, and any way that you want to. So the butterfly paper, let's see. Hi, Shirley. Oh, no problems. Who else said hi? Somebody else said hi, and it's not letting me scroll back. And thank you. Hi, Cheryl. No, don't worry. Butterfly Kisses, maybe. It's in the annual catalog, Christy. Let's go ahead and put our paper on here. I'll look in a minute. I should have pulled it out. I did have it pulled out, but then I picked up and decluttered my space. And I put it away. Hang on just a second. Yeah, yes it is. It's Butterfly Kisses. So thank you for helping me out with that. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and get some more dimensionals on here. And this is a sweet card. You could use this for any occasion. It could be a birthday, or it could just be thinking of you. I'm going to take out my backings with my take your pick tool, and then let's get some fun flowers on this card too. So I think for this card we will use, well, we could use some yellow, let's see, or we could use Calypso Coral. That might be good. Am I using yellow anywhere? I'm not sure I'm using yellow. But we don't have yellow up here, so I think I'm going to stick with the colors we have on our card. So I think I'll stick with, I'm using blue on another card, so I'm going to put one, let's see, put one here, and then maybe another one. Put those together. See, you can tell I didn't plan this part ahead of time. Maybe there. And let's do one more orange one. And let's go down here by the cherry. There we go. Oh, let's put a little twine on this one too. For this, I think we'll use, well, let's use the blue. I think that'll show up the best. So we'll get out the starry sky. And now I'm just going to make a bow like this. I didn't have a bow on my sample card, but this one is going to have a bow. So let's get that. Twine likes to twist a lot when you make a bow. So you have to be extra careful to keep it flat when you pull the one side through. I know that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You have to keep it flat while you pull the one side through. I've showed bow making many times, and I'll be showing it more. But and then I'm just going to put that on my glue dot. And I'm going to put that right here on my cherry. You want to squeeze the mini glue dot, so you want it to be squeezed right under the bow so it doesn't. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should have done green. Well, we'll leave it. But there's our little wishing you a sweet day card. When I show you my sample card, you're going to go, how did you get that from that? But because I was winging it, which usually I don't do. Oh, thanks, Shar. Let's try. Oh, I was going to show you my other one. Okay, so this is my, this is my original card, and then this is my butterfly card, butterfly kisses card. So they're both cute. This needs some more embellishments. I do have red rhinestones. This is real red. I have red rhinestones, and I can put some twine on this too. But there's those two. So while you are looking at those, I will be getting the next one ready. For the next card, we are going to use the Butterfly Kisses paper with the Best Butterfly stamp set, and they do coordinate, and this one has dies to it too. We're not going to use the dies tonight because we are doing quick and easy cards, so we're not die cutting tonight. Let me get everything out I need for this card, and we'll get started on this one. Get my stamps out. Okay, there's that one. And we'll have this one to show later again. And let's go ahead and, oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. That makes me happy because I do spend time on them. And I see that I forgot to pull a punch, so I need to walk away from the computer for a moment and reach in my drawer, which is a few steps behind me, to get a punch out. So hang on for just a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Did your teachers ever say that? Talk amongst yourselves? When mine said that, I thought that was going to be a free-for-all. Okay, I pulled the heart punch. This comes in a pack of two. One is a plain heart, and the other one has scallops that you can layer. You can layer this onto the scalloped one. We're not doing that for this one because we're keeping it quick and easy. So we're just going to punch 3 hearts. Again, I'm using punches because I promised quick and easy cards. So we're just punching some hearts out of, let's see, not that one. I don't want that one. Oh, do I want that one? Yeah, I guess I do. So this one, that's crushed curry, but we're actually going to use Daffodil Delight. And then this is all the butterfly paper, so you can see the butterfly there. Butterflies. So we're going to do those 3. Then this DSP just shouts summer to me. I really, really like it a lot too. And I thought, I don't want summer to go by. We're already the first week in August. I don't want summer to go by and we didn't do these really cute, fast, easy summer cards that I prepped for you a long time ago. And I thought, all right, we're doing it. We're just going to take a break from the holiday catalog. And we are going to get back to summer because it is summer after all. It's been in the high 90s here, I'm sad to report. And this stamp is from that Best Butterfly stamp set. And I've already pre-cut that circle. So I just took, for those of you that might be watching that haven't seen die cutting before, we are going to do a little bit of die cutting tonight. But I just took this circle and I put it on plain white paper and ran it through the die cutting machine. So for those of you that might be completely new to watching this, you're like, well, where'd you get that circle? That's where I got it. Okay, and then I did the same thing. I already pre-die cut one of my favorite sets of dies, the Scouring Contour. What do they call contour? Scallop. Jeez, Joey. Scallop Contours dies. Now this is not the butterfly paper. This is the in color paper. The designer series paper comes in all of our families of colors, and then you get multiple pieces that are of the same colors. Oh, you guys, I just lost my feed to my iPad. So I'm going to have to be checking on my computer. So I have to get back on YouTube on my computer, which somehow my email came up. I have no idea what happened with that. Okay, now I can see, hopefully I can catch your comments. It looks like my iPad just came back, so maybe the connection wasn't. Let me see if I can get it come back up. I'll keep going while it's coming up, because I can just see what you're seeing a lot better. I can catch it if I get out of the view better. All right, so this one, that's the inside for our card. Yeah, I came back up. Good, yay, I can see you now. I can see what you're seeing much better, so that'll be good. All right, so we've just got this on our card base of the Starry Sky. And this is one of my favorite colors. I thought it was going to be Parakeet Party, and while I do love Parakeet Party, it's the bright green one. I find myself pulling for this color a lot, quite a lot actually. So we're going to go ahead and then we're just going to put our hearts down here because our greeting says all the love. So we're just punched a bunch of hearts, and I'm going to kind of get that one up here. I'm just putting these down with adhesive. I'm not popping these up. This one will kind of go here. And then this one will pop up. This will go down here. We'll get some dimensionals on the back of this one. Punches seriously are a serious time saver, and they are awesome. And the Stampin' Up! Ones are very, very sturdy. And when it, like the cherry builder cuts out, it punches out. When they use the word builder, it means it punches out more than one piece of the stamp set. So the cherry builder does the leaves, the stems, and the cherry. So that's helpful. Let's put our Calypso Coral, since we've got Calypso Coral on this, let's put some Calypso Coral stars on this guy. Well, flowers. I keep calling these stars. I don't know why I think they're stars. They're not stars. And I think they're so cute with this paper, these little fun flowers. So that's that. And then let's go ahead and do a little something on the inside. Let's at least do a greeting. How about sending good vibes? I have an uncle that just came down with COVID. Just is so upsetting. He's mid-80s, but he's very healthy. He swims several times a week. He walks their dogs. He's being careful. Ugh. So he had his first treatment for COVID today. He's not feeling well, and he has, whoops, this is coming off here. He has a cough and a sore throat. So he's at home praying for him. Oh shoot, thinking about my uncle. Okay, let's try that again. Good, the extra special thing about Stampin' Up! Cardstock is it has two sides. There we go, that's better. But I'm so upset. We just saw him. He's the one I went to see. Those of you that were kind of following my Facebook page, I put a picture of him and his wife, Carol. You know, we ought to grab a little butterfly out of here while we're doing this. Or let's just do some little dots. So we'll do that instead of taking the time to do a butterfly. But he's the one I went down to see in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. We'll do some, let's do some orange dots and some blue dots, both. Ugh, stupid COVID. But we're not talking about bad stuff today. We're going to talk about fun stuff like stamping. And butterflies and butterfly kisses. We're not going to talk about that yucky stuff. Okay, and then let's do some blue dots too to tie in. I like to tie in the inside of my card with the outside. Maybe a little bit up here and maybe one more. There we go. That's a cute card. So this card might go to my Uncle Jim because I want him to get well quickly, of course. Okay, there we go. And he's a sailor, so he likes blue. They live on a lake, Lake Weatherby in Kansas City. And so there's our inside of that card. So there's that card. Card number 3. And we have one more. So there's our 2 cards. Now I'm getting ready for the last one. So I'm going to reshuffle everything. And we'll get ready for the last one. My Uncle Jim got COVID, Christy. And he lives in Kansas City. Okay, so we got straightened around there. As I get ready for the last card, I've got one more to show you. I just wanted to give you a reminder to find that link in the comments to sign up for my email, and I'll send this graph with exactly the layers I used and how to count them down or count them up, depending on how you want to look at that. And if you order $50 or more by Saturday the 7th, or maybe a bit Sunday, by the 7th, whatever day the 7th is, and you put in a $50 order, you'll get a free SAB gift, and there are some new things available. So these are new things that they've added. I won't go over it with you. You can find it on the website under $50 options. And the Rings of Love paper is back. And also the other paper, I'm reaching for it here. Sorry, I should have my samples pulled out. I'll see if I can find them quick so that you can see what they are. There's the Rings of Love. And then the other one is the Wonderful World paper, which I'm trying to find here quickly. And of course, it's not coming up quickly. I'll just pull up in the book and show you. I like to show you the actual paper, but I might have pulled it out for another display. But the Rings of Love is this paper that's been so popular, and thankfully they actually got it back in. So it's this one, and this is back in. I don't know for how long, because once it sells out this time, it won't come back, because they won't have time to get it back in time for celebration. So if you want that, it would be very wise to order right away. So those are your choices. Let me pull out the This is the Wonderful World paper. So this is available with a $100 order, and then a coordinating stamp set. I don't know how long this will last either. This has also been extremely popular. So, but you get the stamp set and the paper for a $100 order. So those are both in. They've been sold out, but they're in. But they won't come back in. Once they go this time, they'll be gone. But if you use this host code and you order from me, you'll get a free SAB gift. You'll get project supplies. So you get the card supplies I'm making tonight. And you'll also get a pack of the fun flowers from me. And that is only through August 7th. That's my gift to you for ordering this week yet. So, stampingwithjoey.stampinup.net. Let me quick put that in the comments too, so you can find where to order if you want to order directly from me. Let me just do that really quickly, and then we'll do our last card. And it's fun and easy too. So here we go. Here is the shopping link I just put it in the comments so you know where it is. Okay, so that's those. All right, so we're on to our last card. Let's get out this one. It does have some die cutting to it, but I just love this stamp set, and I have only used it a couple of times, and I thought before summer gets away, I want to use it. But it comes with these dies that cut out the images, and then these fabulous what do I want to say, label dies, these skinny ones that fit all of these things. And there is every occasion here. There's birthday, sunshine to brighten your day, a card to say hello, sympathy, so it's sending comfort and strength. Just so many things in this stamp set that are so versatile for what you might use it for. We're not going to do a lot of die cutting, but we're going to do some die cutting tonight. So, first thing we're going to do is cut out some words. So this part's a little bit putsy. This is our adhesive sheets. You can't tell that, but they come in 6x12. And I'm going to show you how to use it, because last time I showed this, I didn't actually show, darn it, I keep doing that. I didn't exactly show it from start to finish. So you want to take off this panel. This is a protective layer, and it just covers the sticky parts. You can see the adhesive there. And then what I've done is I cut the adhesive strip the same length as my panel. So that just kind of saves your cardstock and it saves your adhesive strips. And I'm just going to, let me hold this down with my tool and then we'll just try and line this up here so it doesn't move. And what this does, it makes your cardstock a sticker. So that's why they're really nice to use, because we're going to use a detailed die and it really helps with that. So let's go ahead and do our die cutting. I'm going to grab my machine. So, by the way, if you don't have a die cutting machine, it's an excellent time to buy one because you can get 2 Celebration $50 gifts or 1 $100 gift. So this is just plain white cardstock, and it makes a bit of a shadow for this die. Now let me grab the top plate, and I'll send this through. I'm sure, hang on here a second, I don't have my plates lined up very well. Now I shared some tips for die cutting last week, and one of the things I said to keep your plates from getting warped is to not line up your top plate exactly with the bottom plate. If you're not die cutting a whole plate full of dies. So since I'm only cutting a couple, I'm going to actually run this through twice since I've got that adhesive sheet on the back of that really tiny die. So that will help your plates to not warp if you do it. If you do that, if you stagger your top plate and not always go, let's make sure this got cut. And it did get cut pretty well, it looks like, I think. Let's double check that. I think it did. Okay, so let me pull this out. Get rid of this. I like to keep my dies on a magnetic plate next to me so I don't lose track of them and throw them away. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take my tool. This card is not as quick and easy as the first 3 I showed you. This one is a little putsy because of the die cutting. So while this is actually still in this kind of frame of what I cut it out of, I'm going to poke these things out. Oh, I bet I already lost the die, the dot to my eye. Well, we might just have to grab the blender pen and make an eye. Okay. This is the one that looked like it didn't cut perfectly through. Hopefully it did. So these letters are so cute, but they are putsy because you have to kind of be careful with them when you're pulling them out. And of course, since I'm doing this on Facebook Live, it doesn't want to come directly out. Ah! This happens, but I'll show you how to deal with it. I'm going to take out this. I don't think my O cut, so let me see. Let me take out my piercing mat. Or not say O, but the middle of my D. So I'm going to have to push a little bit harder on it to get it to come. Oh, it did cut, but not perfectly. Okay, so now I'm just going to peel this off. This is the back layer of that adhesive sheet. And you have to be kind of careful with it since it's pretty delicate. And then I'll show you how I put it to the little shadow that we just die cut as well. So I'm going to pull this out. Thank you, Mary. I'm glad you're enjoying them. I felt they were too cute to just put on the shelf for who knows when. I probably won't do summer cards. I shouldn't say I won't do summer cards. I don't know if I'm going to do summer cards. So this is how I do this. I don't know if I'll do summer cards the rest of the summer because I'll probably heading into fall things soon. Okay, so I'm going to put this letter down there, and you have to be careful because now it's all sticky. So it sticks to your fingers. You don't want to pull too hard. And then I'm going to do this last one down here like this, okay? Then I'm just going to gently take my tool and just kind of follow these letters along here like so. Now when you're doing this, I think this is my eye. I don't know. If it's not, we're gonna call it the eye. It's really teeny. I don't know if you can see it, but it has adhesive on the back, so if I can just get a hold of it. There we go. Now this is where the other end of this tool comes in handy. So I'm going to try and get that picked up with that tool. And I'm going to put this, I don't really think this is the eye. Maybe it is. I don't know. We're going to call it the eye because it's going to work. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now you can kind of set it down. But so that's a little putsy. I won't call this card quick and easy. I'll call it easy, but I won't call it quick. Okay, now let's do our stamping. So I'm going to grab our layers again. Now this layer has 3 3/4 by 5. That's our main stamping layer. And then this one is just 1/8 bigger. So that would make this 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Oh, that's not what I meant to cut. Hang on, that's not what I meant to cut. I need to redo that. Or it won't look good. We gotta have it look good. Okay, so let's recut that. Sorry. Let me grab some Orchid Oasis. Okay, so this is 3 3/4 by 5. I wanted to check my measurement. So then we're gonna grab our trimmer. And we're going to go, so 3 3/4, I just wanted an 1/8 bigger, so it'll be 3 7/8. And then 5 1/8. Make sense? Like I showed you to do. Okay, so let's do that. Now, hopefully, with any luck, well, this will work. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp, though, before we get into the rest of this. So I'm taking the stem first. I know that my greeting is going to go across like this. So I'm going to kind of figure out where my stem of my flower is going to go. This will probably go a little bit lower. I just need room to put birthday wishes down here, so I'm gonna go. But I also need room at the top for my flower. Okay, we're just gonna go for it. Let's go this a little bit straighter up and kind of in the middle, like so. Now I'll warn you, my green is kind of splotchy because again, it's new. Let's go ahead and stamp the flower head in Sweet Sorbet. So grab that. Whoops. And we'll ink that up. I'm going to wipe that off because I don't want to mess up my flower and have to redo it. And I kind of lost control of my stamp. I kind of dropped it a little bit. So this is going to go just at the top of our flower. And I'm looking through it until I can see that green stem. You're not going to be able to see that, but I want that green stem to be right in the middle of my flower, if I can get it there. And then I'm going to take out Daffodil Delight. I think on my original card I actually used crushed curry, but we're going to go with this because that's what I pulled out. And I'm going to stamp the center of this card, or this flower, with Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to stamp the smaller flower that goes on this guy there. And then that one also has a center, but we're going to do that center. We're going to go back to Sweet Sorbet. Hi, Cheryl. Of this little guy in Sweet Sorbet. I didn't get that really centered because I'm trying to hurry a little bit to not keep you past your bedtime. And then I think that's all the stamping. Well, we have to do birthday wishes, so let's do that first. I'm going to pull out my Orchid Oasis here. And I'm going to come down here kind of maybe about there with birthday wishes, like so. And then, aren't these colors so pretty together and summery? Now this whole thing we're going to pop up, but before we do that, let's go ahead and put this card together. Here's our 1/8 inch layer, 1/8 inch, both longer and wider than our main layer with our images on it, our focal point. And we'll go like this, and we've got that, just that little layer of bluish purple around there, and then we're going to put it on a Daffodil Delight card, like so. You could pop this one up, but I'm not going to. And there's that. I like this set too, Mary. I have loved it since I first saw it, and I just haven't used it as much, so we're using it tonight. I will use it. Hopefully it'll stick around a while. So now on the back of this, I'm going to put some regular and some mini dimensionals, because we spent such a lot of time on our die cutting. We want it to be well supported, so I'm going to put a lot of dimensionals on this greeting. And put a bigger one here, if it'll fit. I think it'll just barely fit, but this one I think needs a smaller one right there. Then we'll grab our take your pick tool, take these off. Oh, that one's already gone. Those two. Like so. Okay. If you're watching on Facebook and you haven't followed me, I would love for you to follow. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I've gone from 8 viewers a couple of months ago to almost 200. So if you're enjoying the video, that is, and you'd like to see more, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Let's add some little gems on this guy. Let's do a big one there. Some fun flowers. Don't forget you get a pack of these from me if you order with this host code and you order over $50 or more. Let's see. Let's do this one. Maybe there. Maybe there. For that one. So, we have that one. Then we have this one. So what's your favorite? I would really like to know which one of these is your favorite. So the sending birthday wishes, all the love card, the wishing you a sweet day card with the cherries. You could just say the cherry card, or the make a splash card with the cute little swimsuits. Am I getting everything in that picture so you can see it? Try to get everything scooched over here. I'd love to know what the name of this set, Christy, is Sending Smiles. And it has a lot of dies with it. The dies cut out the flowers, the stems. There's 2 labels. There's a lot of dies in there. And then they also do the sending. And then there's 2 dies for the sending. So the top die, the skinny one, and then the fatter one for the shadow underneath. Sending Smiles. Is this the one you're asking me about? Donna, so all the love is Diane's favorite. Kay, Cheryl, Kay, you guys are not helpful. They're all my favorite. Well, I love you guys. That is so sweet of you. You cannot know how happy that makes my heart, because I really do try to show you things that I think are easy to replicate and duplicate, and show you ways to enjoy your own stamps, or give you inspiration for things you already own, or perhaps add to your collection. So when you say you like all of them, I appreciate it. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, you guys are just the best. I love you so much. Honestly, you just make my life so much happier, because you appreciate, you're so grateful and always so sweet. Hang on, let me get myself turned right side up. There we go. Oh gosh, I did spend a lot of time preparing. I hope it was helpful. Thanks so much for spending your time with me. I value your time, so I try to be helpful, and I hope that you've been inspired, and I hope you'll take some of these ideas and I hope you'll use them. And I would love to see what you're making too. So you can always tag me on Facebook. I'm Joey Evans. I have my main name in my Facebook name, so Joey Evans, Evans, Hartman, Hartman. So you can just tag me on anything you make. I'd love to see if you take some of these ideas with whatever stamp sets you own, and if you even just layering, even you just make one layer, I'd like to see if it was helpful. So you're so welcome. I'm glad. I'm making sure I don't miss any comments. Pam info's been helpful. The cards are pretty, and I like all the colors on Make a Splash. So I do too. I like all those colors too. Another fun night, Christy. I agree. It's so much fun spending time with you. I'll see you next time, next Thursday. Set your calendars, or write it on your calendar, or set your alarm on your phone. I'll see you next Wednesday, 6:30. Take care, everybody. Sending you love. Bye-bye.